My client, SMC, is a 42-year-old who attends St. John's University Speech and Hearing Center for accent modification training. My client displays difficulties in spoken American English, and her primary language is Spanish, with English being her second language. This is the client's first time being exposed to accent modification training and was evaluated in February of 2017. The client resides in the Sisters of Life Convent in Yonkers, New York. She is practicing grammar and pronunciation, as well as vocabulary expansion and stress and intonation. Her speech errors and patterns that impact her speech abilities are moderate in nature. She has no current medical issues. For our session that was recorded, the goal was for the client to auditorily discriminate ah and ah at the word level with 90% accuracy with minimal prompting. The goal will be assessed, or was assessed, by presenting a list of words that included the target sound ah, and then another list of words with the target sound ah. The client was then instructed to blurt out the words as fast as she could while focusing on her target sounds. The goal was assessed by presenting poems also with both target sounds ah and ah embedded within. Then data was collected or gathered by the amount of correct and incorrect productions of the target sounds from both activities. After the data was collected, the results then determined whether I needed to make changes in the levels of support or cueing and the desired accuracy level. The article I used in order to make the goal or the intervention strategy for this session was Working with Adult Foreign Accent, Strategies for Intervention. The author mentioned in this article that discrimination training is a very successful approach in improving speech production for non-native English speakers. The author also specifically explained how vowel discrimination is key in accent modification training and the importance in choosing two vowels that differ in mouth placement in order for them to notice structural differences. During this session, a few things I noticed that I thought I did well after watching the video with Ms. Marr was that I provided a clear rationale for the activities and objectives at the beginning of the session. I also discussed from the previous session what goals and activities we went on, or the results of the goals from the previous session and the activities we did and how that was going to affect or come into play in today's session. Another thing I noticed that I did well was that I provided target-specific feedback consistently throughout the session. I also had a poised and confident demeanor and gave appropriate space between the client and myself. I also used appropriate interpersonal skills as well as building rapport with my client and making small talk before the activities began to make sure that she felt at ease and comfortable. I also maintained appropriate eye contact throughout the duration of the session. I also used purposeful silences to allow the client to elaborate on responses. And lastly, I allowed myself to understand the client's feelings and attitudes about her communication problem, not just during this session, but almost every session thus far. This client specifically gets emotional when talking about her communication partners and how they kind of discourage her and don't give her the support she needs in order to practice her activities and target behaviors and means of speech outside of clinic. So it becomes hard for me to motivate her and get her back into a positive mindset to get her back into the activity at hand. A few cons from this session that I noticed that I think I can work on was that I frequently use a glottal fry in my voice during the session. Another component I noticed was that I could improve upon judging responses accurately throughout the duration of the session. Another component I noticed was I could provide more brief summaries of the client's performance after each activity we go over. And lastly, this was something I just mentioned in means of the emotional behavior my client often exhibits. It becomes hard to keep her attentive and keep her on track with the activity at hand due to her discouraging outlook on her speech intelligibility.